All right, we're going to look at our two literal equation questions on this test, which were questions 4 and 14. Calculator, unfortunately, will not be able to help you on this guy, but, you know, it's just doing some inverse operations and we can kind of deal with it and move on. So I've got the formula for a volume of a cone is shown by this. The radius of the cone may be expressed as, so that's saying, hey, we're trying to get r by itself. So I guess I'll rewrite this. Let me move the mouse out of the way. Sorry again. I can just rewrite this as v equals 1/3 pi r squared h. First thing, I can always just get rid of my fractions by multiplying by the denominator, the number on the bottom, to everybody in the equation. 3 times v, 3 times this whole right side. 3 times v is 3v, and then there's no addition or subtraction between any of these. I cannot distribute over multiplication, so I'm just going to say, oh, this 3, it'll end up canceling with the 3 on the bottom there, and my right side is just left off as pi r squared h. Now you might start thinking, okay, wait, I see a 3v here. The only 3v I see over here is 1. So it might be 1. Let's just do the rest of the work to double check it. Trying to get r alone. I've got pi times r and r times h. So let's divide out the pi and the h from both sides there. Pi and h get canceled out from each other. And I'm left with this whole thing on the left side. It's a literal equation. 3v divided by pi h. I can't do anything with it. So I can just rewrite it. 3v over pi h equals r squared, and we're on to the last step. The opposite operation, your inverse operation for squaring, is to square root both sides. This square root will cancel with s squared, and so I'm left with r being equal to root 3v all over pi h. It is indeed answer number 1. All right, let's try that other literal equation, which is at the end of the test. Question 14. A lot of people were getting scared by this one. But, you know, it says, all right, formula for area of a trapezoid, blah, blah, blah. Here's the formula you're working with. Express B1 in terms of A, H, and B2. People might be wondering, which one should I get by itself? Well, it's the guy they have by itself. Express B1 in terms of means these are just going to be the other variables there. So here it's saying get B1 alone. Let's get it alone then. I'll rewrite my whole equation. A equals 1/2 H B1 plus B2. And then we are going to get rid of that fraction. Multiply everybody by 2. 2 times A is 2. Because I've got the parentheses here, and then boom, boom, multiplication between all these, I will not distribute. I won't distribute into an inner parentheses. I just distribute over addition and subtraction in the first big set of parentheses. Since there is no addition or subtraction, this 2 just cancels with the 2 on the bottom there, and I'm left with H B1 plus B2. Now I guess I could distribute, but that's going to end up making my life a little more difficult. I see H that's multiplying against this whole thing here. Let's get rid of the H just by dividing it away. And I'm left with 2A over H equals B1 plus B2. Last step, take away the B2 from both sides. And you're left with at the end, B1 equals that whole fraction that we had before, and then just minus the B2. That's my answer for 14, the first part. The second part, it's kind of a lucky 2-part question. You do not need to have done the first part to do the second part. It'll help, it'll make things a little bit easier, but you don't need to do it. So I'm actually going to do this in 2 different ways. I'm going to do it as if we had gotten the right answer from the first part, so I'll rewrite b1 equals 2a over h minus b2. And then I'm going to do, well, if I had no idea what was going on up here, I'll just rewrite the original equation. A equals a half h b1 plus b2. And we can see how we can answer the question with either one, either with the right answer from the first one or just using the original equation. Okay, the area of the trapezoid is 60 feet. Well, area is going to stand for A. Sorry, A is over there. So I'll plug in, all right, B1 equals 2, and then instead of A, I'll get 60. And then over here, instead of A, I'm just going to start with 60 right away. Okay, area of a trapezoid is 60 feet. Its height is 6 feet. So here where I see height in this part, I'll just replace 6 instead of height here. In this equation, the original equation, I'll just put 6 instead of height over there. And then one of the bases is 12 feet. It's going to be easier to make the base that's not alone 12 feet. It'll make this math a lot easier to deal with. In this case, it doesn't matter who I choose to put 12 in for. So I'll put minus 12 over here. Since I did B2 is 12, I might as well do B12 over here too. By the way, it's minus 12 because it was minus B2. B1 plus 12. Here, there's no more inverse operations. I can just do the math here, right? 2 times 60 is 120 over 6. Minus 12, 120 over 6. No need to try too hard on that. Let's just do it. 120 over 6. That's 20. 20 minus 12. It looks like my base 1 is going to be 8. Now, if I try the same thing over here, I can do it. I'll follow PEMDAS. So 60 equals will stay. Half of 6 is going to be 3. And then keep the B1 and the 12. I'll distribute that 3 into the parentheses there. 60 equals 3B1 plus 3 times 12 should be 36. I can minus 36 from both sides to keep getting the B by itself. 60 minus 36 should be 24. And once I divide 24 by 3, you should still get that same answer. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So even if you weren't able to do the first question, you can still manage to do the second one by using the original equation. It's a little more work. My left side was a little bit easier because I already did all the inverses. But, you know, don't just give up because the first part of a short response might confuse you. That's our literal equations. Hopefully that video was able to help. I know it was a bit long.